Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Friday, January 21st, 2022. That sounds so weird to say. My name is Sonia Javette. Today what is it? Sunny and cold outside. It's sunny and 43 degrees outside today. What? Have my fireplace going, and my little dog Lucy is all cuddled up in her blanket. So I'm excited for my show today. Thank you so much for being here. My special guest today is going to be Juno Black. Juno Black Music is a full-service audio and video production company based out of Austin, Texas. The mission is to help produce your own dream that makes possible for clients to successfully promote their brand. With over 6 decades of combined time in the industry, their wide variety of skills in audio, video, and event production and web makes them an essential part of your next project. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Juno Black.
Hello.
I need to get a clap track. I still need to get one. I don't have one yet. Thank you so much for being here, Juno. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here, and good work so far in your program. It's really insightful, and you have great guests all the time.
Oh, thank you. So in your background, is this your studio, your home, where you're at?
Yes, this is my home studio where I'm at. Here's where I produce music and audio. And in the back, I have a green screen in my garage that I've set up. So I do some videography there as well.
Awesome. I keep thinking that's records, but it's not. It's a piano, right? 3 pianos. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Keyboard is my main instrument. So I have a lot of it.
Right on. I only have one, and I just started learning how to turn it on because I still don't know how to use it. But once I get through with my classes, I'm going to dive into the keyboard. All right, let's get started. So, first question. My favorite question to ask is, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Superpower. I think I would like to live for a long time, live longer than I'm supposed to, and not forever, but I don't know, 400, 500 years. That would be a nice time.
That would be a long time, huh?
Right.
That would be
imagine all the things that you could do. You could really go everywhere in the world, and when you're finished, like the world would have changed, so you could do it all over again.
That's a good one. I have not heard that one. One place I want to go to for sure is I want to go and visit Greece and the pyramids. So hopefully in this lifetime I'll get to do that. Fantastic.
I've always wanted to go to the pyramids too. We'll see if I make it, but yes, it seems like a wonderful place to visit.
Like, I think they should turn them back on because I think they're a power source. Turn them on. I think they're not just burial grounds. I think they're a power source.
Huh. I haven't heard that one, but for sure they have more implications than just a building. You know, yes. They do have like some resonance chambers, and sound it was definitely in their mind when they built them. In that sense, I've read a lot of articles about like how sound reflects in the chambers underneath and how they build it. So like sound affects the way like the things that are there, and they thought like that could help them like kind of maintain, you know, for all the burial grounds. So it's a really interesting place. Like, you know, Egypt's society is so interesting to me. Like that old version, you know, is so interesting to me.
The sound chambers was part of the class that I took a couple of semesters ago, and one of the videos that the guy was talking about all the orbs that we can't see that travel in the sound because of the frequency that's happening around there. And I'm like, dude, I want to go and sit there in a circle with some people and play some music and see what kind of sounds come out. That would be fascinating to me to be in at the bottom of the pyramids. So, next question. What's your favorite part about your job?
The favorite part about my job is that I'm everyday part of the creative process. I love people creating something and energetically creating something. And when people play music together or are together in a group making a new thing, there's this energy that kind of like gets everybody in the same frequency. And I love that feeling. So for me is really getting into a process of making something new, and how people focus on that, and new things come out. And that's just what I love about my job.
Great answer. Great answer. That coincides with getting in sync with other folks when you're doing improving live on stage. That's always wild and fun for me. I dig that. Are you okay, let me go back here. Y'all know how I am. I go everywhere, all over the place when I ask questions. So Juno is I'm gonna read some more of her bio. Multimedia technology and live production expert, can direct and produce audiovisual communications in any media, which is fascinating to me. Uh, founded Juno also founded in 1993 by Nadia and Harriet Stearns, One World Theater Limited. That's a physical place here in Austin, right? Or
Yeah,
was or is?
that actually I didn't found it.
Okay,
I worked
was
there.
founded. My bad.
Like the theater was founded by Hart and Nada Stearns, and it's been one of the forefront venues, music venues here in Austin. So it's a theater, but it's basically a music venue. And a non-profit, so they do a lot of education, and they go to schools and hospitals and that sort of things, with musical projects to do education and outreach. But we present a lot of musical acts. For 5 years until the pandemic hit, that was my main job. I was managing and kind of we refurbish the whole theater, bring it to the new age. It was a really good experience for me. But like things change, and like this time has been like weird for everything, especially the music industry. So I'm now doing other things. I went back to teaching, which is another really rewarding part of my career. And, I want to like share the knowledge that I've amassed over this time that I've been working. And I mean, at this point, I can't even believe it, but, it's almost like 30 years that I've been working in the music industry. So that's a long time.
That's beautiful, beautiful. So the theater, is it? I've not seen this theater. So is it north, south, east, west? Which part of?
It's west on the Bee Caves Road. So it's like southwest of Austin.
And how many people does it seat?
It's a small place, but that's like actually what I loved about it, because a lot of the music venues are larger, and we presented like we had a very professional space, but the total capacity was 300 people. So it's very intimate. And that's what people liked about it, because they could go and see their favorite artist in a very intimate setting.
That's a lot of people. 300, as my professor said, 10 people in your house is a lot of people. 300 people is a lot of people. Knew that.
Well, but as far as like performance art spaces, it is on the smaller side. Like usually like a theater that presents that kind of artist will be 1,000 or 1,500. So think about like the Bass Concert Hall, you know, or like the Paramount downtown. You know, like they present a lot of like the same kind of artists that we presented, but in a much more intimate ambience.
I love that. Theater was one of the classes that I took in college, and the box theater setting was always tickled me, because I was like, why is the room square and why is it so dead for sound? I always thought that was funny to me. I was like, okay, can't hear nothing in here. I asked you this earlier in the green room. How many languages do you speak?
I speak 5 languages. Yeah, I was born in Colombia, so Spanish was my first language, and I went to a French school, so I learned French from middle school. And when I was going to come to the States to live here, I learned English to come here. Even though when I got here, it wasn't as good as it is now. You know, I've learned more by being here. I also lived in Italy for a little bit, so I learned Italian, and I work with a lot of Brazilian artists, so I've learned Portuguese to communicate with them. So those are the languages that I speak.
Ooh, Portuguese, Brazilian music. Want to hear all of that genre of that you can speak in, have several things that are wonderful, food and the music culture. Amazing that you get to have that opportunity to work with them. Let's see, back to our questions. Do you have any pets? And if you didn't have any pets, what kind of pet would you like?
I do. I have 4 cats.
Whoa!
I'm a cat person.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually just adopted 2 new cats that were in need. So my partner and I adopted like 2 new cats, and we had 2 cats that are already like 13 years old. So it's kind of like we're gonna teach the babies the cat treats.
There you go. Do they have cat towers like I see people have in their homes, like a
Yeah, we have a lot of toys and places for them to sit. I think like that's the cat life. Like, where am I gonna sit next?
Fun. And let's see, more questions. Go back. What books are you currently reading?
So right now, I am actually like going back and rereading some technical books as I started teaching again, rekindling some of my technical books. So I'm not reading any narrative at the moment, but I'm reading a live sound book. It's the author is Dave Swallow. It's called Live Audio, and it's a very interesting book about live sound. I'm rereading which for me is like the Bible of sound, which is the Yamaha sound handbook, and it's sound reinforcement handbook is called. And it was commissioned by Yamaha Corporation when they put out like the 4,000 mixing board for large scale concerts, and they commissioned a book to kind of go through the basics, and like the resulting book is basically the Bible of audio engineering, if you ask me. So I'm kind of like going back, and I've read it like twice. Like the first time when I first went to school, it had just come out, and my teacher was all about it, and I got it then. But then, like every time I read it, I learn something new, and I've been doing this for 30 years. So it's a fantastic book, the Sound Reinforcement Handbook.
Right on. I have some questions. Good. I have someone said very, very cool and great questions from Facebook, and I can't see their name. So thank you for your comments. Let's see here. Juno, so I've taken some sound classes. I think it may have been with Yamaha. I'm not sure. The reason why you're reading that first book, is it because it's in, uh, giving you new insight to live sound recording, or is it just reminding you how to do live sound?
Well, the book, like I do live sound all the time. That's been like half of my career has been doing live sound. But this particular book like goes into the basics of sound and how sound goes through the engineering part of sound. So it goes through the basic concepts. What is a preamp? And how they're built. What is an EQ and what does it do to the sound in a very technical level. And there's always something that you take out when you read it again, because it's very well written. It's a technical book, so it's not like fun reading for everybody, I think.
Technical books are good.
But I love it. I like reading. I mean, like some version of fun for me is reading manuals. Like I go and like I sit down with the manual and it's like, what is this?
So that's some people's candy right there. So that's good. My question was, okay. What do you teach at the college?
I teach audio engineering and live sound. Those are my two classes.
There you go. Audio engineering on different. Explain more what that means.
So, audio engineering touches on the basic subjects of audio, like precisely why I'm reading this book back, because it's so well written and it helps me explain these concepts to other people. But basically, is teaching the underlying functions of any audio system. And recording. So we also touch into positioning, mic placement, mic selection, equipment selection, preamps, EQs, etc., compression, dynamic processing, and basically how to make a good recording. And then the basics of Pro Tools, which is a digital audio workstation, which is still today is the standard in commercial facilities. So we want the students to be proficient in this software. So when they go out into the world, they can come to a commercial facility and with no problem.
Excellent. How long is the course?
Well, ACC has a 2-year certificate, and there's different specializations within those 2 years that you can take. But yeah, it's basically the music performance and technology program at ACC.
Right on. I've had to learn to run sound because there's been events or gigs that I've done that didn't have a sound engineer, and they would have this giant 24, 32 channel board, and I'd be like, how you turn it on? Where's the speakers? Hello. So I had to learn how to run enough sound, at least for myself. So I commend you on teaching. That's excellent. Let's see. What advice would you give new artists or even artists that have been in the business for a while about sound and what DAW systems to use for themselves for projects?
Well, in reality, DAWs, there are a lot of very high quality DAWs, and quality wise, they're all very similar these days. Like it depends on how you get comfortable with your system and what can you afford and what you can use. My advice would be learn the basics, learn what the DAW is doing, right? Like when you put a plugin in, just don't try to put a plugin and turn it on and off and turn the knobs until it sounds right. I mean, that's a practical, but you lose a lot of time and it loses focus. So if you understand the concepts, you can plan and you can think instead of just choosing different things. especially because software now has a lot of choices. So it's very easy to fall into choice paralysis, right?
True.
So what do I choose? So sometimes it's better to, for a while, just choose one thing. I recommend my students at the beginning, just pick a channel strip that you like, whichever it is, and put it into your DAW and learn to use that very well. Yeah, learn to get the sound that you want out of that single channel strip. Yeah. Or pick a few plugins that create a channel strip and just use those for a while on everything until you understand what it does and how it affects what you're doing, like deeply understand it. So to me, I don't, I mean, Pro Tools, again, as I said, like is still like in 80% of the commercial facilities. It has come down and there's more options that people use in broadcast, for instance. Like there's like specialized platforms that people like. For film mixing, there's specialized platforms, but they're usually like self-contained. But for everyday artists, whatever DAW you use. Now, for instance, if you want to do looping, like Ableton Live is probably like the most geared towards doing like live looping, even though like Logic has a lot of like really good tools to do the same thing, right? But if you're creating, if you're composing, like Logic has a lot of really good sounds off the bat, and it integrates with the Mac very well. So that's a good option. If you are a Mac user and you want to create MIDI tracks, if you're editing sound, still Pro Tools is king. Like if you're doing sound editing, is still the fastest to me, even though you can do the same kind of edits on any other platform. For mixing, there's a lot of options, now Universal Audio has Luna, which is a really good sounding a platform for mixing, or Harrison Mix Bus is another one that is geared towards mixing and has like really good sounds on it off the bat. So it really depends on what you want. So what I would say is do some research, think about it, and within your budget, get what is more geared towards what you want to accomplish with that after doing that research.
True. Very true. During the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, okay, which DAW do I want to get into? I know that Pro Tools has a intro sample that you can use. You can like do, I think, 2 or 3 songs for the intro part, and it doesn't cost, doesn't have a cost.
It actually has like a 30-day trial that you can try it for 30 days, like these days, which is a good way of evaluating. They, as a company, they've gone through like the subscription mode, and a lot of these companies are going towards that, like where you subscribe to their software and are able to use their software.
Mm-hmm. I'm using right now. Right now, I'm using Logic, and then I'm just now getting into the Ableton because it came with my Lisa's keyboard, which I still am learning. Let's take a look at your video here. I'm gonna stop showing this and give us a little background on the video. Let's see, bring this okay, add to the stream. And I think you can talk while it plays. So
So this video, well, the song came first. Like I did that song about like almost 10 years ago. Like the music, I recorded it with my friend from Neuronautas. It's a band in New York City. Kind of like went into the back burner and stayed in my hard drive for years. And then I went on tour and I took all these pictures, that I wanted to use in some way. And I was doing an exercise. I wanted to show an exercise of storytelling and kind of like exploring how storytelling in a video can be explained by still pictures. Basically, if you want to do a video, you can tell a story based on still frames, and the way you frame those images can tell a story. So that's why I made this video.
Add myself. Let me put myself back on screen. Beautiful. So where was that again? Where were you?
Oh, there's different locations. Like the pictures I took over. I toured for 5 years with different bands, and when I toured, I usually loved. That's kind of like my pastime was to take pictures. So when I proposed this exercise, like I kind of like wanted to put all these pictures. So there's pictures in Florida, there's pictures in California. Like the end pictures are mostly like driving from LA to San Francisco when you go through Big Sur. So all of those pictures are on the highway in the coast and Big Sur, like the last few pictures of there.
Beautiful. I look forward to traveling. I have not toured yet. I look forward to it. So let me ask you some more questions. Was your family musical oriented? What got you inspired to be a musician?
And not really, not my whole family. I mean, my family has been artistic, but not musically oriented. I actually, uh, a, my older cousin, he played in a band, and that's kind of like what got me interested in playing with people. Right? I kind of like my grandfather had a piano, but nobody played it, and it was
Mm.
completely out of tune and stuff. But I used to see that and I just like would play the keys, and I just loved the way it sounded. The way like if you play two notes together, it will create these harmonics, and I just loved it. Um, so I wanted to take lessons, piano lessons. So my cousin, my older cousin, was taking piano lessons. So I went to his. I asked him to invite me and like kind of like get to know the teacher. And after that, I told my mom I really want to take piano lessons. And then a few years later, my cousin started playing in a band, and that kind of got me into the music aspect of it with the band in a more youthful. And then I learned rock and roll, and then like I got a band of my own. Yeah, but my family as it is like wasn't like too except my cousin really like musically. I mean, they were musically inclined, they were artistically inclined, but not music, not that they were in music really.
How many instruments do you play?
My main instrument is the piano, but I play guitar and bass. Most of the bands that I've played, it's been playing bass. Uh, for some reason, bass is very convenient instrument, and most people need bass players.
Right.
So,
Right.
so especially when I first moved into New York, carrying a keyboard was like really hard. You know, like on the subway and that. And most venues will have a bass player, and there was a lot more need for bass players than piano players. So I ended up playing bass more often than not. But piano is my main instrument.
Ah, my brain went bass. Yes. Who's your? How many favorite bass players do you have out there? Like, I know Victor Wooten
So
and
many. Oh,
Go.
Victor Wooten is amazing. Yeah, yeah, and he's a wonderful person. I got the opportunity to work with him for a few shows, and it's just amazing. And I've seen Bella Fleck play like several times,
Wow.
and then
Yeah.
like he's one of the best bass players out there. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's so many. It's kind of like hard to pick one. I mean, if you ask me, Jaco Pastorius
Yes.
big terms, like he definitely revolutionized bass playing, I say. But George Clinton, like
Yeah.
there's like a lot of really good examples.
I've tried to
Now,
play bass. Go ahead.
Now, if you ask me, what style I play most, I would say like Roger Waters of Pink Floyd. Like that's kind of like what I like to
Wow.
play. Like that sort of not really virtuoso, but really solid, like bass lines, and that's the yeah.
Uh, there's can't think of his. It'll come back to me in a minute. Blah, blah. So What favorite venues that you have got to play in, and why? Like two of them.
Okay. So venues. I mean, I just recently played at 310 at the Austin City Limits, and
Ooh.
that's a really nice venue here in town. I mean, like, is definitely one of my favorites. Eh, I say actually the theater where I worked at, One World Theater, is a really nice venue because it's a theater, but it's very intimate, and I really liked playing there. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like more intimate venues than, I mean, I've played festivals, and when you have 100,000, it's energetic and it's up there, but it's not as comfortable as playing in a well set up small venue, because the smaller clubs also have a lot of issues. But like a small performance art center is my favorite venue to play in.
Is do you feel like that's because they listen more, or the room is designed for them to listen more?
Well, music is the center in that kind of environment, right? Like when you go, like, music is why people go. Music is the center of what's happening. Whereas, like in a lot of, for instance, here in Austin, in a lot of the Sixth Street or Red River clubs, people go to have fun and go to drink. They don't, they might,
Yes.
oh yeah, this band is playing, but like they really are going to socialize and drink and so on and so forth. Or in big festivals, people are going to have an experience about all these things, and there's so many options. Again, like that kind of like and you have a limited amount of time, and it's not your setup, it's kind of like the festival setup. So it's always
Mm-hmm.
that sort of pressure, and then like you have a slot and all these people, even though it's very energetic, like playing like in an outdoor festival, it's not my favorite. I prefer like small performance art venues.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I've had some gigs like that were long 2-year residency, and it would be me and 30 TVs, and it got to be like such a soul suck, and I was like, I don't want to ever do those kind of gigs. I don't want to have to do those kind of gigs to make a living anymore. So I agree with you. Intimate setting venues are amazing. I remember doing this gig once where this is when people were still drinking and smoking inside the venues. I could hear someone blow smoke and the ice tinkling in their glass. I was like, wow, this is neat for a venue to be performing in. Let's see. Do you have any favorite kind of foods you like to eat before or after performing?
Well, I like to eat when I'm hungry. I try not to eat before performing. I kind of like leave enough time, and I like to perform on an empty stomach. I do like to eat after, but I love Thai food. Pineapple fried rice is my favorite dish in general. Um, but yeah, I like Indian food. I like healthy food. I don't eat meat, so I don't know. I like a mixture. I mean, Colombian traditional lunch food is great too. Where you have like some rice and beans, and you have some sort of protein, which normally would be meat, like chicken or that, but I don't eat that. So I usually will. I do fish, um, uh,
The
and
pineapple fried rice. That sounds amazing.
it's so good. It's like definitely. And every time when I wasn't going on tour, I was on a quest to look for the best pineapple fried rice in America, but I could never do it. Like there's so many places that are so good.
Is is there a Thai place that you like here in Austin?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. I mean, like here in Austin, are definitely kind of in an eight, But like sometimes, I mean, speaking of 888 does a good fried rice, or Madam Mams does a good fried rice. You know, definitely the best Thai places in my experience have been in San Francisco and New York.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
yeah.
Right
Yeah,
on.
there's this place in New York, or I don't know if it's still there, but it's called Chelsea Thai, and they make the best fried rice for me.
So I'm curious because I haven't had it. Is fried rice spicy? If it's pineapple fried
it's,
rice,
it's, it's
it's
sweet and sour. So
okay. Okay.
it has a some spice to it, but it's not that super spicy. And the pineapple, and it has raisins on it. So the
Mm.
raisins and the pineapple give it that sweet side of it. It's just like a good combination. It has egg, and it has a ginger, and it has the
Mm.
pineapple, and it has cashews. It's like just a great combination. Yeah, if you haven't had it, like I would highly recommend it. And then it's all stir fry, you know.
Ooh,
Uh,
I'm gonna have to try some of that.
yeah,
That sounds good.
yeah, that place that I was saying in New York, they have a huge window, and the cooks all cook it in front of you. You know, they have the big woks and the high fire, and they just like cook it in a second. It takes like not much, and you just look at them like they cook it and they give it to you, and it's so good.
That's my favorite part about going and eating sushi is getting to watch them prepare the meals because they're so delicate with it. I'm like this. I love watching chefs cook. I'm not a chef person cooking, but I can put some food together. But I love watching chefs perform. Yeah, perform. I like watching chefs perform.
There you go.
um, do you favorite music teacher? What lesson did you learn from them that you still use today? Favorite music teacher?
Oh wow. Uh, eh, Probably there's this sax player from Colombia. His name is Tonio Castillo, and he was my first jazz appreciation teacher. And I mean, I don't apply it only to music, but he said, think before you put your finger on.
Mm.
So you gotta think where you're gonna do your finger before you put your finger on any note, right? And that process is like, oh yeah, I mean, I have to think. I can feel it, I can do it, but like at some point I have to think what I'm doing. I have to connect with that thought of what I want to do. Yeah, and that has been primordial. I mean, I apply it in a lot of things that I do in my life.
Because it's truth. That's very true. Are you another question? Are you registered with any of the PROs? Are you at like BMI or ASCAP or which one
Yeah,
are you with?
I am with ASCAP. I've been with ASCAP for I don't know, 15 years.
Nice. I uh I did BMI this 2 years ago. Let me see if I can pull this up. So Juno also has a SoundCloud and a YouTube page and Instagram, and uh, I want to play a bite of your SoundCloud here. Do you have a preference of the any of the songs? Because they're just snippets. I don't see any full
Yeah,
songs.
I mean, like a lot of what I do musically, I do a lot of audio for video. So a lot of
Mhm.
my pieces are short pieces that are electroacoustic in nature. Like that's the bulk of my work is electroacoustic short pieces. Whichever you like is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Mini, 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 mini. This says Animal Adventure Bed 2. The title of that just sounds like
Okay.
fun. I'm just gonna click. Oh wait.
I don't. I don't
Oh,
think we're
okay,
hearing
yeah,
you.
yeah, I forgot. Y'all know how I am. I keep forgetting there's technology to this. Okay, let me bring it over first. I have to share the screen. Oh, someday I'll have somebody helping me push the buttons. Click, and then now we can do all my fun thing. Okay, here we go. Hmm.
Yeah, that was a fun piece. All of those animal adventure were underbeds for a video game, for a phone game. I think it's not available anymore, but that's the purpose of those pieces that, or that particular piece that you just played.
I like it. I was like, it does sound like you're a bunch of animals in a march or something going to do something. That's what my visual brain was doing. I like it. That was fun. Are you working on any new music projects now for yourself, for your own music?
Say that again. I didn't get the question.
Working on your own? Are you working on a new project now for music?
Yeah, I actually I've been working with Jaime Ospina of Superphonicos. We have a project that is called the Wonder Bunch, and is a based on looping. So we basically improvise on stage new music every time. We have an improvisational take on a looping setting. So like we'll start with like claps and maracas, and then I'll add keyboards and synths, and yeah, it's a project that is it's kind of going to be one of our focus for this year, and I'm looking forward to playing more with that.
Are you doing virtual shows with that? Are you doing live shows with that? And if so, where?
Well, with that project, the last show that we did was at the 310 at ACL. We are planning on doing live, and the idea is to kind of like bring back music to the square. So we want to do shows in different settings, including schools, and kind of like go into the backyards of people or like public squares, and be able to create a new arrangement based on that time, and have people have fun and dance to it.
That sounds like fun. I would love that. Love that.
I'll keep you posted.
That'll be excellent. Let's see. Do you creating a new project? Are you going to create new projects singing in the other languages that you speak? Like, are you going to do a Spanish album or?
No, not really. Although I've had like other languages songs, but you know, like I even though I've sang and I sang in a couple of my songs, I'm not a singer. Most of my music is in like it doesn't have lyrics. It's basically music. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if someone wanted me to help with that. I can do that, but like I like mostly doing instrumental music. So
excellent. Great answer. Are you planning to get into sync licensing with your music? Like,
oh,
have it?
I have licensing and sync is a big part of like where my income has come through the years. Uh, I mean, if you're a musician and nowadays there's so many opportunities, even though they're less well paid as in the past, right? Like in the past, like a sync was much more profitable than these days. It seems, at least in certain levels, like so. But if you're starting, I recommend everybody to look for those opportunities and learn more about like how to get your music into movies, video games, etc., etc. Like,
That's my goal this year. I want to do 100 sync licensed songs that'll be financially compensated. That's my goal for this year. So I'm like, okay,
awesome.
I know I have a bunch of, I call them junk tracks that I have a library database that I've set up. So I'm like, as soon as I finish school, which will be March 1st, then I'm going to start focusing more on just doing that type of creation with my work. So I'll be hitting you up going, does this work? Can I, who to, yeah. Half the battle of sync licensing, I think, is finding who to send it to. The music supervisors.
Networking.
Yeah.
Like anything else in this business, it is all on meeting people and getting to know people and getting people to know your work and to know who you are. And to a lot of artists, I say like, when I was starting, I wanted to be a rock and roll hero or something like that. That was my idea. I wanted to be a star, and that never panned out. And I'm glad it didn't, because I love doing what I do. And it's a matter of keep going and keep trying and get into a habit of making things. And when that something, licensing and sync is a very different animal than creating an album that you want, because like it has certain characteristics. So if you want to do sync, make music that is syncable, right? So there's so much content out there and so many opportunities. People think like websites, product websites, streaming shows. Everybody's making streaming shows. So there's a lot of opportunities. Again, like it's probably a little bit less paid than in the past, but it's worth doing it. And you can make a living out of it.
Yes, because the YouTube music licensing, I believe that's where they get a lot of their music from. Don't count me. I haven't done the research to find out yet, but I figure that's where they're getting a lot of their music from, is from sync licensing from other independent artists. So I'm looking forward to diving in that. Networking wise, I know maybe 3 people that do sync material. So I look forward to networking more with people that are in that arena, because it's going to be fun. Let's see. More questions. And is Juno your name, your performance name, or is that your legal name?
That's my legal name. Yeah.
Nice. Do you want? I was going to ask. Okay, what? I asked you in the green room, so I'll ask you again. What's the meaning? What's your name mean?
So basically, Juno is part of the Roman mythology and is part of the Roman pantheon. Is like Zeus's first wife, basically, on the gods. So it's a goddess, but it kind of represents like the a feminine, fiery spirit, something like that. I don't know. That would be a close translation. Let's say that.
I love that. That's excellent. And if you had, do you have other instruments that you want to learn how to play besides? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm always trying to learn new things. You know, I've been dabbling more with flutes. I never like wind and reed and instruments without frets are really challenging to me. But I don't know. I wish I had more time to really dedicate myself on learning something else. But I still like, you know, try to practice and keep. And I'm kind of going more into piano after working in the management full time. That kind of like took a toll in my practice, daily practice schedule. And I'm going back to that to practice the piano in depth every day. So, not for the moment, let's say that.
Okay. And I see you have keyboards in the back. What kind of, is that a Moog?
Yeah, I have a Moog, I have a Roland Juno, and then I have a Korg SB1. But a lot of the times I use the SB1 as a MIDI controller. But it has really nice. It has a nice, decent piano for playing live when you don't want to carry a lot of computers and stuff. And the Moog is my mono synth. I love the sounds that you can create on that. And the Juno is a polysynth, analog synth. This is the Juno. There were several iterations, but this one has the digital control, even though it's still an analog synth.
Do you have something you want to play for us live? Snippet or something?
I don't know.
Off the cuff? Yeah.
Off the cuff. Let's see. No, really. Let's see.
Because that was cool. Yeah.
Can you hear that? Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see what we do here.
Do what it do, Juno.
So. Off the cuff.
Right on.
You know, improvisation on the spot.
Excellent. I love that stuff. So much fun. I want to say thank you so much, Juno, for being here. And my dog has decided that she wants to speak.
Oh, nice.
Who are you talking to? She is a Chihuahua Terrier. Come here.
Oh, nice. No, what's her name?
Her name is Lucy. And
awesome.
She is 9 months old, and we are just still getting to know each other. And she is a rescue animal, and she has been the best addition to my life that I've had in the past, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years. So awesome. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much for being here. You're so cool. If
Well,
you
I appreciate again, like you inviting me. It's been really nice talking to you, and hopefully we'll get to continue this conversation. Show me your sync pieces. Maybe I can help.
right on, and maybe you'll come back another time and play. I hadn't. My apologies. I should have asked you if you would like to play live at the beginning of the show. So yeah, maybe you'll come back and do that, or maybe even. Anyway, there's so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're gonna say bye to Juno, and we'll see you next time. I'm gonna pull you off. And my name's Sonia Javette. We'll see y'all next week. I appreciate you being here. Again, if you'd like to be on the show, just send me an email. You can send it to contact@soundbiteproduction.com. And that's our show. Let me put this here.